We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
¿Cómo estás, listeners? What? Welcome into High School Famous. This is the podcast where we attempt to sound stupid and we mostly succeed, I think.
I don't know if we put like attempt to. I don't think like that's not the goal.
I'm always trying really hard to sound very stupid. And it's sort of a cover up. I claim to want to sound stupid just to cover up how stupid I actually am.
I feel like that would have reverse effects.
Do you have the same strategy?
No, I honestly feel like that would have the reverse effect that you're looking for.
If I'm trying to sound stupid, I would sound more intelligent? Or it would reveal how stupid I sound?
Well, okay,
what effect are you saying it's going to have?
I don't. All right, I take back what I said.
Because if I'm
it wouldn't have the reverse effect. But if you say stupid things to try to make people think you're stupid, you're intelligently masking your stupidity with stupidity. It means you're like purposely doing it.
So then what's the point?
Right. Just be stupid.
I guess the only thing you could do is make the claim that it's intentional so that people might think, oh, well, he's really not that dumb. But if I don't ever declare that, then yeah, you're right. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Which, that could be.
It's like just doing something dumb and then just saying, I meant to do that afterwards every time.
And I have never been one to do that. Have you?
I don't
do stupid things.
I don't believe it. Oh, I've done stupid. Yeah, I have purposely done stupid things a lot of times.
Let me ask you this: are you someone who will fall over and then say, "I'm okay," like they put in every movie that tries to be a comedy?
I've never done that in the sense of like I unintentionally fall and then got up and said I'm okay. Like I used to purposely fall.
Okay.
As like to be funny, like purposefully embarrassing myself,
pratfall type stuff.
Because I thought it was funny, and people would be like, "Oh my god, that was so crazy that happened." And in my head, I'm like, "It wasn't real." But I'm just like, what good is that doing for me? I'm just looking like an idiot, and people just thinking I'm an idiot now.
It's just like me having to declare that I'm sounding stupid on purpose to mask. Because it's, I mean, if you're stupid. If you try to sound smart to mask that you are stupid, you probably will sound more stupid.
Correct.
So there's no real way to get out of it. If you're stupid, people know.
Yeah.
So there's no hope for me unless I find a way to get smart. Should I do schoolings?
Sean, I think you have an adequate intelligence.
I think, I would say I don't know enough about any particular thing to consider myself definitely not an expert.
Oh God, no! I would never call you an expert.
But I can't think of anything where someone would be like, "Oh, you should ask Sean about this because he knows all about this, or he knows what he's talking about in that subject."
There is one very specific subject that I would say, "Hey, ask Sean. He knows a lot about this subject."
Is it Seinfeld?
Well, okay, maybe two. Is it? Because I feel like you do know a lot about Seinfeld.
Is it the endocrine system?
I'm not even sure what that is, so I don't know what your intelligence level on that is.
It's one of the systems of the body. There's the nervous system, the digestive system, the endocrine system.
And what exactly is the endocrine system?
I think that's I forget. I'm not sure if it's
so no.
I'm not sure if it's like.
So the answer is no.
Yeah, it might be having to do with like the liver and gallbladder and those types of organs, maybe.
Maybe. So basically, it's not that then that you have a lot of intelligence.
I wouldn't be someone to go to for info on that. No.
Yeah. I would say I would go to you for information on how to care for a child that becomes diabetic unexpectedly.
Yes.
You do know a lot about that.
You know what? You're right. I will cop to that.
I mean, it's not something that you're like, I'm really proud I know all of this, but it's like, I'm sure you would have rather not had to learn all of that information.
So you could look at it that way, or you could look at it the fact that since it is something I should know about, I am proud that I know about it. It would be pretty shitty of me to not know anything about it at this point.
Oh yeah, you'd be an awful,
terrible
parent.
Yeah, neglectful.
If you just decided like,
I'm not going to learn about this.
I'm not going to learn. I'll let my child's mother figure that all out. And
I knew a scenario like
she can just tell me what to do.
I knew an arrangement like that where it was like, oh yeah, his mom took care of mom took care of all that.
Yeah,
I didn't deal with it. So I'm not going to call out any names. So
right, yeah, we can talk about that
safe
afterwards.
with me. Oh, I will dish. Yeah. I will serve up a big old dish.
Yep, that's another thing you're good at.
Gossip
is you always have plenty of dishes.
I mean, I make sure I have a service for 8.
You can serve.
I make sure I have service for 8. I don't expect to ever have more than that many people at my place. In fact, I think
Do you seriously have enough to serve 8?
Yeah. I think it came that way. Either that or I bought 2 sets of 4. I can't remember.
I think it's usually probably 2 sets of 4.
But I don't like to
brag.
I hate bragging, even though I'm really good at it.
I thought you were going to brag about having 2 sets of dishes.
No, I like to let the dishes pile up. So if I have less dishes, that means I have to clean them more often. Even though I have a machine that does it, I still would rather let not have to fill that machine as often, because then you go through less dishwasher soap. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to own more dishes. In the long run.
I mean, in the long run.
The initial purchase, of course not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the risk there. The other risk of always washing with a full dishwasher is there's more of a risk of the dishes not getting properly cleaned.
That is true. I have run into that where I'm like, this doesn't look like it's clean at all. And they have those ads where they basically say, yeah, just wash it when it's run the machine even when it's not full, because you'll save water somehow. I'm not sure what the whole argument is behind there. Like, yeah, run your dishwasher more often to use less water. I'm not sure if they're talking about spending less water, like rinsing everything off if you let them sit for a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't spoken to anyone that's been behind that ad campaign yet.
Yeah, I think I used to have 2 sets of dishes, and but I didn't have a dishwasher.
Right.
So that was the problem, is that I would have 2 sets of dishes, so I didn't have to do dishes as often. And then I would just have to spend 2 hours doing dishes once a week or twice a week, because then I'm out, and now I have this pile of dirty dishes sitting in my kitchen for how many days? I
didn't have a set of 8 at the time, but when I was still living in the basement, my tiny basement. There was no dishwasher down there, so I had to hand wash everything. Mm-hmm. So not fun. I don't miss those days now that I am back to having a dishwasher.
It's weird though, now that I have a dishwasher. This is like the most riveting conversation we've ever had on the show.
We don't have anything else to talk
I still find myself wanting to wash stuff by hand occasionally, because I'm just like, it'd just be quicker if I just wash this by hand.
You could do it
instead of like, I
do all the time.
Well, today I washed some stuff by hand today just because I like loaded a bunch of stuff into the dishwasher, and then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to start the dishwasher, run it. It wasn't even a full load, but I'm like, I'm just going to run it, get this stuff clean. And then I was like, okay, I got to take out the trash. I'm like, oh, there's some shit in the fridge I should probably throw out. So I went into the fridge and like cleaned out a bunch of stuff. And then I'm like, well, I have a sink full of dishes now. So I'm like, fuck. So I had to wash a bunch of stuff by hand. So,
I mean, if we want to get more riveting,
yes, I do.
You might not be able to tell, but I am currently standing up. I am not sitting in a chair right now. Because I have a new sit-stand desk.
You're right. I couldn't tell. You're actually standing so very still. It appears as if you're sitting down.
Hey,
we don't need this to get all sexual. And you're wearing your new High School Famous
shirt,
merch.
My merch. Check it out.
If anybody wants to buy this stuff, email Sean because he'll have to figure out what to do about that because we don't have a store set up or anything.
I think I could just place an order for the same items and then, I'll just need your shipping information to send it to you.
Yeah. So if anybody wants a cool high school famous shirt or hat or almost anything, you can probably just think of anything. If you want a mug, I'm sure we can make that happen.
We can figure out a design for a mug. Yeah. I can tackle that.
Yeah, we can do a keychain.
Maybe the high school famous words on the side of the mug, and then like the crown is like resting on the top of it or like on the corner of it. Something like that.
Yeah, or like inside the bottom of the mug. So when you empty the mug, then there's a crown in the bottom. There are. We'd have to probably have that special
because I've never looked at designing a mug on this website, and so there are certain, just like with a shirt. I'm sure there are certain areas where you can place some type of an image on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a spot for the inside of a mug. That would be smart if they did.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you think you would need to have the image would need to be beneath the surface layer? There had to be some kind of clear coat on top of it so that whatever material they use to print the image on the mug wouldn't get like eroded away into your beverage, especially if you're a coffee drinker.
Yeah, and you see like stir it around with like a metal spoon, it's going to scratch it off.
And you know how like if you go to a fancy coffee shop, they'll like some places will like make a little heart design with the cream and stuff in your coffee, so you could sort of swirl around a yellow crown until it makes a nice yellow spiral. You can only do that the first time.
So are we going to make like a little stencil thing that people can use for their mugs?
No, I'm just saying the toxic chemicals that are used to print the picture on the inside of the mug will erode away and swirl into the liquid that you're going to drink the first time you use it, providing you don't wash it before you use it. If you wash it before you use it, the crown's gone. You can't have your spiral.
We highly recommend don't wash any of our merch before you use it. Because it will get ruined immediately as you wash it.
Yeah, water. Yeah, this shirt I'm told will disintegrate if it gets wet. Yeah. So I can't wear it in the rain. I can't wear it in the snow because that eventually gets wet. You know. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought that eventually turns into rain.
The snow eventually becomes rain.
No, it doesn't.
I'm sure there have been
It eventually becomes river water.
I'm sure there have been cases where it's snowing and then it warms up a little bit and turns into rain. No? In the history of the planet?
Well, the snow itself wouldn't turn into rain. Just the precipitation itself would turn into rain, but there would be no like...
Yeah, and that's what I want to avoid. My shirt cannot be adorned during that time. I can't even like carry it separately with me, loosely.
Now that I said that, I can't say I'm 100% sure that wouldn't happen. Like it could be snowing at a certain altitude, and then by the time it got down to a lower altitude, it might turn into rain because it warms up too much.
Yeah. That's the visual representation of what you were just describing. For those that watch us on YouTube months from now.
Slow falling rain.
It's also very like erratic rain. It's not just falling straight down. It's like wiggling around in the air. Mm-hmm. It's unpredictable, this rain. It's also a bunch of little drops attached to a giant membrane of some kind. So that's great. I'm still standing. Are you sitting, Matt, or are you standing?
I am. It's the weekend. I'm sitting.
Got it. Yeah. The one thing
I sit on the weekends.
The one thing I've had to change about the setup since getting this desk, for those who are curious, is I had my monitor mounted on the wall, and my phone acts as my camera, and that was to prevent any camera wobble from the desk wobble. Right. Well, now I want the monitor to raise and lower with the desk. It's now back on its monitor stand on the desk, and so I could do this.
Oh.
And so I have to see if I can find a workaround for that, or I could just be very careful. But obviously, the higher you raise the desk, the more susceptible it is to wobbling. So yeah, maybe I'll splurge and get one of those like desk-mounted monitor arms, so that might make it a little more stable than the built-in stand for the monitor.
I don't think that would make it any more stable.
Well,
because it's still going to be mounted. It's still going to be attached to the desk itself.
Yes, but the desk would wobble, and then the monitor might be a little more secure to the arm so that it only wobbles as much as the desk does. Right now, the desk will wobble, and then the monitor will wobble on top of the monitor stand in addition to that. So I'm not saying it would eliminate the wobble completely. It just might reduce it.
Yeah.
So reduce your wobble.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say wobble that much in my life.
Well, you've never been in a conversation where that word is required as much as this one was.
Dude, I've talked about weebles so much before.
Well, then how did you get by without mentioning the word wobble?
Oh, we've said it, but it wasn't mentioned that many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would say kids.
And I talked about weebles for hours.
You would say, is it weebles or weevils?
I think it's weevils.
You would say
weevils are a type of animal or a bug or something.
That's also an animal.
A weevil.
A bug is an animal.
I was just being more specific.
Gotcha. So weebles, you would say kids. We know that weebles that they wobble, but they don't fall down. But let's come up with another word to describe what they do. And so that's how you get around it. You're getting the kids to come up with other words that mean the same thing as wobble, right?
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to do that because just because that is a big characteristic of what weebles can do.
I think it's the only thing they do.
It doesn't mean. Well, no. I mean, they were just a toy. That wouldn't fall down.
The whole point was you just push them over and then they would stand back up. That's the whole thing they do.
I don't think that's a boring toy. There was more to them than that. They had like little villages and stuff, and they were like a large Polly Pocket, basically.
They had villages?
And they had they had like little, you could put them in little cars and like they had all sorts of stuff. Look it up. Google it. Bing it.
Bing it. Search engine it.
Excite
Duck-a-go-go. Speaking of Polly Pockets, funny you bring that up.
Oh, of course.
I mean, what are the odds that both of us have something to say about Polly Pocket on the same day?
I mean, I didn't really have much to say about them. I just mentioned them briefly as a
Weeble's House in
parallel.
preschool toys for sale. Yeah. Wow. A Weeble house.
Yeah, they have they have vehicles, houses. They were just like another
Amazon
kind of toy like that.
Weebles, welcome to Weebleville, movies and TV. A village of pastel-colored Weebles.
Oh, pastel.
Footless friends who wobble but don't fall down. Promote timeless themes of sharing, teamwork, and bravery.
Bravery?
Yeah, it's brave.
Because there's a fire truck version, I think.
So for $18.09 on Amazon, you can get the DVD of Weebles Welcome to Weebleville. Yeah. Yeah. You could do that.
Okay. I don't know what that is. Is it like an animated?
It's a little show or a movie, maybe? Also includes bonus episode. Ooh, so it's a show.
Oh, shit.
Fun, song-filled Weebles adventures in 3D animation. So
I'm waiting for the big, Hollywood DreamWorks fucking Weebles movie.
Big movie. I'm sure someone has optioned it or bought the rights.
Yeah, I mean they did all those Lego movies.
Yeah, they're coming up.
It's time to do the fucking Weeble movies. Come on, Play School, get on this.
So back to Polly Pocket.
School spelled with a K.
I was looking up some Airbnb options because I will be traveling this coming week to Colorado.
That is not how it's pronounced.
Colorado. How about that? It's a tornado of color. It's a Colorado. Get in your shelters, people. We're in Colorado Alley. Get in your shelters. Twisters is a hot movie in the theaters right now. Is it in the theaters anymore? I don't know. It's a sequel to Twister. Did you see it?
I don't think it's a sequel.
I think it is. It's called Twisters.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's just a reboot.
That's a good question.
Because from what I heard, it's basically the same storyline.
Well, then,
but it's a disaster movie versus an action movie.
Star Wars Episode 7 was essentially A New Hope again. And they call that a sequel. They don't call it a remake.
And it gave us hope that the other two movies were going to be good, and they weren't.
The funny thing is, if anybody really sat and rewatched, like when I rewatched that movie, I'm like, you know what? this really isn't as good as I thought when I first saw it. I think we were just all excited that it wasn't the prequels again.
There was such a low bar at that point.
Yes.
To make a good Star Wars movie. And yeah, it's not like the most amazing thing in the world, but it looked great.
It looked more of like the practical, effects.
Yeah, it had more practical
less
stuff.
Green screen stuff.
It had darker tones in it.
And it had our old friends
than what
back.
we were used to.
It had Luke and Han and Leia back.
And Phoebe.
Phoebe? Who's Phoebe?
Our old friends.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Anyways,
I thought you were going to enjoy that, but it went right over.
Why would I?
It went so far over your head. I thought you'd enjoy that. It was a dumb joke.
Why would I enjoy anything about?
It went over your head.
Why would I enjoy anything about Friends? I once brought as a white elephant gift a Friends hat, and people really wanted it.
Yeah, because people love that show.
Pivot.
It was okay.
Pivot.
It was fine.
Anyway, in my search for Airbnbs, I found some place that is basically like a big life-size Polly Pocket house. Okay. I don't know if it folds shut like the toy did.
I'm imagining no.
But you step down into this pink circular area that's all full of different rooms and furniture. And yeah, it was very strange.
Was it specifically marketed as like a Polly Pocket house, or you're just saying it resembled?
It was labeled like life-size Polly Pocket something. Let me see.
Interesting. And you're gonna have to throw up some images of this.
Polly Pocket house.
And you chose not to rent it?
I opted out of that one, I think it was that it was unavailable.
What if they had what was it? It wasn't called Mad Max, was it? What was the boy version of Polly Pocket?
Mighty Max.
Mighty Max. Okay. I couldn't remember. I knew it wasn't called Mad Max. I just knew there was Max in the name.
Hold on.
If there was a Mighty Max Airbnb house, would you have opted in?
I think if it wasn't crazy expensive, I would stay in a Mighty Max thing. Especially if it was like the skull one. The thing is, his little sets weren't like homes. They were just like these weird, creepy environments. So it's not like it's a place to stay. Polly Pockets was more, I think it was more like a homey type of a place.
Right.
So this says Polly Pocket's 90s era compact is now life-sized. This summer, Mattel's Polly Pocket is inviting fans everywhere. So this is official. This is like Mattel made.
Oh, shit.
Is inviting fans everywhere into her world and listing her life-size 90s slumber party fun compact on Airbnb. Let me share my screen if I can remember how to do this. And okay, great. Oh, golly, why? Golly, why? I thought I had this turned. Okay. All right. And more things have to happen. And oh man, I'm not going to do that.
It's like you should be able to just click one button.
Well, this is telling me I have to quit the browser and reopen it, and that would mess up this recording. So I'm not going to do that.
Interesting. All right. Well, it'll be on the screen for the viewers.
And I'll text you the image.
Perfect.
So you can see it.
We're going to do this in a weird way.
Well,
the way.
The only way.
Our way.
So I was very surprised by this whole thing. It appears to be like an outdoor, like you're exposed to the elements if you're in it. Based on this image, if this image is real and this is what it really looks like to stay there. Although it looks like there's this little separate sort of tent type of a thing that you can walk to from it.
You sleep in a tent.
Yeah, that's kind of lame, right?
Yeah. All right, let me
pull it up.
Let me look at this image. It won't let me open the fucking thing.
Watch your language. We're on the air.
There it goes. Yeah, if that's really it.
You're not in an enclosed space.
This is an Airbnb.
Yeah. How to request to book. Ready to try adventure on for size? Those ready to become a doll for the day can request to book a one-night stay at Polly Pocket's Compact starting August 21st at 6 a.m. Pacific time through August 28th. Oh, so it's over.
None of it looks usable. Like, it's not like a real kitchen.
I guess you're paying to, because I don't know who would stay the night
like,
here.
There are like 2 doors that lead in the back area, if that's where like a bed is to sleep or something, but that doesn't look like a very big space.
This whole thing looks fake. Like this person that's up on the upper level there, how did they get up there? I see the set of stairs from the bottom level of that part of it, but how do you get up to that part of it?
Yeah, what the H?
I think this is a bunch of malarkey. I can't wait for you to visit and help celebrate my birthday in my most epic compact ever, said Polly. Let's have some serious slumber party fun in my hometown of Littleton, where we make the ordinary extraordinary. There's adventure to be had, from my closet full of nostalgic fashion fun to the surprises I've left hidden around the compact. The fun is endless, even though you can only book it for one night.
Yeah, so hold on. So not only is that staircase from that bottom level of the upper part of the compact not actually lead up to, but there's nothing that gets you from the lower part of the compact to the higher part of the compact.
That's what I'm saying. Unless you, like maybe you walk around the back of the whole base of it, like at the ground level, and maybe there's some kind of doorway back there with a set of stairs that can lead you up there.
But it doesn't look like there's a lot of space back there either. But you know what I mean? Like, there's obviously the staircase that leads up from the ground to the lower part of the compact.
Matt, you say that doesn't look like there's a lot of space. Look at the people in this image. They are tiny. This is a giant structure.
No, but okay. So look at the
clock is accurate.
The upper part of the compact, right? The part that's vertical. Right. Look at the depth of that intersection where all the
you can
like stuff
it's
is.
more than a chair's width,
and then
you can
and then look at how thick the overall space of that top is. So look at like the pink part, how deep that is, and then look at the purple part and how deep that is.
Sure,
there's not a lot of space back there.
Yes, but so
unless there's more back there that we're not seeing.
Look at the back left corner of this image. See that big supporting piece
on the bottom. The
bottom, the very back of it.
Yeah, but that's just as thick as the upper part.
Yeah, we're talking like 4 feet deep.
Yeah, so
you can fit a set of stairs back there.
Yeah,
what is your problem with Polly Pocket's compact?
I'm saying, Sean, that the inside depth is just about as thick as the outside depth of this whole thing.
Sure.
And that bottom base part is just as thick.
Sure.
So if there is a staircase, it is not part of the actual compact. It's like in the back, just loose.
Maybe.
It's not enclosed in the structure is what I'm saying. It's not a proper compact. This will never fly.
I can't use this to apply makeup.
But either way, if based on the image, we have to assume there is no staircase back there.
Sure.
In which case,
we don't have to.
In which case, we're going to.
I'm going to be adventurous and assume there's a staircase back there. I'm going to be bold. I hate you.
But either way, just based on this image alone, there's no way to even get to that upper section without having to go around back where there's maybe a mystery staircase.
There could also be a bear waiting for you.
It isn't a very wooded area.
This looks so plastic.
Everything is completely plastic.
I'm finally looking at the other images, like the more close-up images.
Yeah,
none of this looks like you could even comfortably sit anywhere.
No, and it doesn't show you where would you actually stay.
I think you stay in that little tent thing that's
like the doghouse on the side.
Yeah.
This
better not cost a lot of money. I do see the door at the second level of the vertical part. So we know that you can take stairs up to and go through that doorway to get to the upper level. There has to be another.
There's a video down at the bottom, but it's telling me I have to download it. I don't even want to risk downloading this onto my phone.
Sounds like you're going to have some kind of malware on your device.
Yeah, it's going to all of a sudden I'm going to get a bunch of Polly Pocket product in the mail.
You know what? That's a good way to get it. Without there being
in the mail.
Yeah, it's the best way to get Polly Pocket stuff
right
in the mail. So I'm going to put up all these pictures so people can get a good look at what it would be like to stay at this thing. And it's very helpful for me to do that, considering it's beyond the window of opportunity to rent it. Maybe they'll do this yearly. Although they did say this is kind of celebrating Polly Pocket's birthday or something. So, but
she'd have a birthday once a year.
No, I know, but maybe this is a significant birthday, like the 30th birthday or something like that.
Did it not say?
I didn't read all this text on this website, man. I'm not going to. I just read some part where it said help celebrate Polly Pocket's 35th birthday. I'm just reading that part now. So it's the 35th birthday. Mm-hmm. And there you have it.
It's I always find like that's a weird milestone birthday.
Well, that just means that Airbnb wasn't really big 5 years ago, probably on the 30th birthday to make this structure.
Or like 10 years ago
on the 25th birthday?
A lot of, yeah.
Yeah, well,
quarter of a century is usually kind of a milestone.
Well, guess what, Matt? If Airbnb wasn't...
And Airbnb was very big 10 years ago.
It was?
Yeah. Dude, Airbnb...
I used my first Airbnb within the last 2 years. So it was not huge.
Well...
I'm the barometer of popular. I'm in the know.
I mean, you are standing.
I'm standing right now. Standing is all the rage. All the young kids are doing it.
That is what you have. That is what you have typed up on your business cards.
I'm a stander.
Sean Tattoo, barometer of
popular. I mean, let's be real. I don't hand out.
That's all it says. Is just your name and that catchphrase.
Let's be real. I don't have physical business cards. Those are out. You need to have a digital card that you can transfer to someone phone to phone.
It's still considered a business card.
You said I hand them out. Like I've got.
I didn't say that. I said that's what it says on your business card.
That you hand out
I never said
to strangers that you want to network with.
I don't think I ever said that at all. I never said anything about you handing them out.
I don't. You didn't.
You know it's true.
I don't think you did.
Yeah. I didn't at all.
But as soon as you said that's what you have on your business cards, my old yet barometer of popular brain went to physical business cards, which are outdated these days.
They're not really. I mean, people still carry physical business cards. Yeah.
Because it's for the successful old people that network. They're not into this newfangled contactless, NFC delivered digital business card.
Yep.
Are they?
You tell me.
I'm not on the barometer. I'm not the barometer of unpopular. I'm not aware of what's not popular. If it's not popular, I don't know if it exists.
I feel like you'd have to be the barometer of popular. You'd have to know what's not popular.
No, that's how honed my filter is to the world. I am only aware of things that are currently popular. And if it's not, I don't know it exists.
But you're the barometer.
Right.
You would have to know what is and isn't.
I'm the measurement of popularity. Basically, that's to say, if you want to know what's popular right now, come to Sean. He will tell you whatever he tells you is what's currently measured as popular.
So if I came up to you with like an object.
Don't approach me.
And I said, is this object popular?
If I know what it is, yes. If I don't know what it is, that means it's not popular enough for me to know about it.
So then you would know what's not popular.
No. I would learn what's not popular as things are brought to me.
And by learning what's not popular, you would then know what's not popular. You would then have knowledge of things that are not popular.
Me becoming aware of the object to which you are inquiring might make it popular.
So
if you want something to become popular, walk up to me and ask me if it's popular or not. And if it's
let's ask this question again, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Old people using physical business cards, is that popular?
I don't know if they do it or not.
So therefore, since you're the barometer of what is popular, you would know if it was popular already. Therefore, it is not popular.
What's an old person?
You have answered my question.
What is an old?
You have proven my question.
What is a old business? What is a person card? I didn't answer any questions. You took something I said. You
answered it. You answered it without answering.
Yeah, which is very popular. I don't know another way to. You
proved my point.
I don't know another way to answer a question because that's the only way I know of is to not answer it. And that
had to work really well in school when you were called on for things.
Well,
it's like teacher would call on you and you would just sit there and not say anything.
I graduated, didn't I? Look, the proof.
You tell me.
The proof was in my writing. Like I showed my work. The proof it was all there. I didn't have to verbally relay to the instructor. That's what teachers are called, right? I knew the answer.
Yeah. So you would write the answer down?
No. Well, I was saying I would show. Basically, when you're learning something in school, man, I don't know if you remember this. It's something that's taught, but teachers teach out of textbooks. So they're just teaching the material that's in the book, right? And you often take written quizzes or exams on that same subject matter.
Right.
So my way of
therefore answering questions,
like written. Not
that's
verbally.
still answering a question. That's still answering a question.
But you're talking about if I get called on in class to answer a question verbally in front of the class.
So let me restructure the whole thing.
So
you said
exhausting.
You don't answer questions
directly,
right? Okay, so now you're being more specific and saying to make it work in your favor. You're now saying you don't verbally answer questions, but you will answer questions written down. Okay. And you've proven this just now by nodding your head and physically. So you will physically or in writing answer questions, but not verbally. This is so good for the audio half of the podcast. Sean's just giving me nods and thumbs ups and wavy hands. And
that was rain, remember?
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing the from Wayne's World.
Let's do the Scooby-Doo ending. Yeah. It's the man from the park, the zoo. What was that guy? I forget. Wayne's World. The haunted amusement park. That's what it was.
Oh, God, dude. It's
so-and-so, Mr.
It's so long since I've seen that movie.
Let's see who you really are, mister. Pull the mask off. Oh, it's Mr. So-and-so, the owner of the haunted amusement park. Yeah, and I would have gotten away with it, too. The thing is, I don't know what he was trying to get away with. Because all they said was, let's find out who you really are. And they pull the mask off.
Yeah.
We don't know what he was trying to get away with in that episode.
He was trying to get, maybe he was trying to get away with ruining the relationship between Wayne and Cassandra.
But how does that benefit his haunted amusement park?
Because they unmasked Rob Lowe's character, right? They took Rob Lowe's face off.
Maybe you're right. I think was it his face?
I think so. Dude, it's been 20 years since I've watched that movie.
Yes, same here.
And it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right. I think it was Rob Lowe's character. So yeah, he was trying to get in between Wayne and Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. But how does that benefit his haunted amusement park? They didn't go. They didn't think too deeply about that storyline.
Yeah, I think it was a gag.
Yeah.
It was just meant for a laugh.
And I suppose that was back in the times when, the gags didn't have to make logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like movies have to everything has to be able to be explained.
Yeah.
And I don't like when things are explained, as we talked about earlier.
Speaking of old 90s movies.
As opposed to new 90s movies?
Speaking of movies from the 90s, the 1990s, not the 2090s. Right. Those would be future movies.
Yeah, I can't wait for those.
Yeah. We will never be able to see them. We will be long dead.
Yeah, they might figure something out before then.
I don't want to live that long.
Why not?
I don't know if I want to live much longer than I have. Anyway.
You sound like you know how much time you have.
I mean, you can plan it if you want.
You can set your own date. Yeah. Save the date. Send it out to people. Send out a save the date. Come celebrate.
Did you get my STD?
What?
Save the date. From Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, I remember now.
Boyle gave out STDs.
I know.
No, so recently watched the movie Airheads.
Ooh, classic. Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and don't stop me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, go on.
Yep. That's it.
Was
just mentioning that I watched it recently.
Was it as
it was all right
still?
It's an all right movie still.
I enjoyed that one. You know, a movie that's one that I never hear people talk about. I also never hear anyone talk about Encino Man.
Yeah, that I have not rewatched recently.
But I forget where it was and in what context, but I recently heard someone mention Encino Man. Like, just like lovingly, like, oh, they loved that movie.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's so rare. Because I enjoyed myself a good watch of Encino Man from time to time back in those days, back when Pauly Shore was, popular and liked.
I probably only ever watched Encino Man once, maybe twice. Couldn't tell you much of anything about it.
Well, you see, they find him.
I know the plot.
Well, that's much of the movie. I don't know what else you need to know.
I know they find a caveman fully intact, frozen in ice or whatever the hell.
I think
they thaw him out. He's covered in mud.
I can't remember I can't remember their whole motivation for wanting to hang out with him and bring him to school, though. Was it so that people would think he was cool? Because or people would think they were cool because he was with them? I don't remember the whole reason for it now that I think about it. We're not going to talk about this, but today is Sunday the 15th, which should have been the natural title to the sequel to our movie Saturday the 14th. But
I liked our original sequel title.
So that's that. We didn't record yesterday.
That's all you wanted to say about that.
Well, I wanted to bring it up.
This episode is just full of a lot of very short stories.
Well, because we don't have anything to go in depth about it. So, we didn't look up. Oh, let's talk about the movie that ripped us off. But it's also called Saturday the 14th.
That came out well before the movie we made called Saturday the 14th.
Not important.
I mean,
kind of important.
It is if you're saying they ripped us off.
I'm just saying that they owe us a lot of money. I'm not saying that anything.
I don't think they made a lot of money,
but I think that we should get more.
I'm sure their movie cost a lot more than ours did.
I'm saying, so we should benefit from that.
We had a budget of $0,
right? And we went under.
Yeah,
we walked out of that saving money.
That would suggest we made money on the movie. That we came in under budget on our $0 budget. We found money while making it.
I put on an old jacket I hadn't worn in a while, and there was a 20 in the pocket.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit!
And I also sold several copies to some Eskimos. I sold 1,000 copies of the movie on DVD to one Eskimo. He was my distribution channel. Yeah, so he bought them in bulk, and so it's up to him to sell them off.
We have no idea where those are now.
I don't know, but all I know is the money's in my bank account. I never spent it. It's still there. It's earning interest. I mean, people want to know about it. They want to know about my money.
Okay.
Say, Matt. Someone glued my deck of cards together.
That sounds like a dumb joke.
And I don't know how to deal with it. Fling paper. The calendar's downstairs.
Oh, you decided to put that one to memory?
I sure did.
Wow.
It's glorious. Send us your own dad jokes. highschoolfamous@gmail.com. And if you're lucky, we'll read yours on the show.
Or if you're lucky, we won't read it.
Well, if you're someone, why would you send it in if you didn't want it to be read? And riddle me this.
I mean,
I'm not
riddled.
We could
make. I'm trying to think of what we could do to try to make some sort of like incentive to send it in, but like we'll only read the worst ones ever. So if you send us a good dad joke, it'll never air.
You have to send us,
you win.
A terrible, terrible dad joke, and we will read it on the show, and that's the prize. Maybe
no. If your bad dad joke that you send doesn't get read, you win. Because that means you sent in the best dad joke, because we're going to only read the worst ones. So if yours doesn't end up on air,
but again,
just know you won.
But again,
nobody else know that you won, but you will know.
But again, is the prize that their joke is read or not read?
The prize is that it's not read.
So we don't need to come up with another prize, is all I'm asking.
No, yeah. The prize is that their joke was the best of the bad jokes. that we liked the most.
And so it doesn't
therefore
get read.
It never aired.
That means we have to, that means in like, let's say in a week's time, the number of submissions we get, we have to read all but one of them to not read the best one. So if we get 100 dad jokes sent in, we have to read 99 of those dad jokes. And we also have to agree on which one's the best. You've made theoretically,
which means
a lot of work.
We have to read them all ahead of time.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you've theoretically made a lot of work for us, but ultimately, realistically, this is going to mean zero work for us because we will not get sent any dad jokes.
Yeah, we're going to make money
our email. Yeah, we're going to find money in our pockets.
Yeah, we're going to find money on this one. That's going to be the new term for something
being lucrative.
Yeah,
like if somebody's into stocks, I just
Well, no, it's just
we're going to find money on that deal.
It's the
dude. I traded all my pogs.
It's our term for the term for us not having to do work.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, dude, we're gonna make money on that.
You're saying Saturday the 14th was not work?
I'm just no. Okay, so it's I don't know
for you maybe because
it makes sense in my head of like what it means of like going into something knowing we're not going to have to do like or nothing's going to come out of it or it didn't cost us anything to do it. I don't know.
I'm a little lost on the actual what this means.
Yeah, it's not fully fleshed out in my head of how it makes sense to use the term we're going to make money.
When you figure it out,
we made money on that.
Send me an email, highschoolfamous@gmail.com, and then I'll know.
With a bad joke.
I'll know what you mean.
I'll form it into a bad joke.
That's not going to help.
But so bad that it ends up on air.
Yes.
Because it's not good.
So this is like reverse logic for the way I've been doing the dad joke calendar. Because I've been reading what I consider the good one.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to, what if we disagree?
Oh, we will.
What if we read like 10 and we find, like I find that one is better than the one you find to be the best? What do we do there? Read them both?
We'll have to get a third non-partial party involved to pick which one of the two that we like the best.
But Matt, what if we tell everyone to send their jokes in anonymously and then we ask the person who one of the jokes was written by unknowingly, and they will be biased toward their own joke?
I don't think you can send anonymous emails.
You can mask your email. You can send an email that is not your true email, and it would not identify you as a person.
Well, then those people are out.
It's not like everyone's email has to be first name dot last name dot domain. You can have an email address that doesn't identify you.
So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure anybody that we personally know that we would personally ask to be the
impartial judge,
non-biased, impartial judge, we would probably know their email. And if they submitted something, unless they used a fucking different email.
Yeah, how easy is it to make an email address?
In that sense, guess what, Sean? We won't know if they sent us the joke.
They'll know.
And we won't know that they were being partial.
But they will know.
They will know. And that's that. They have to live with that. They have to take that to their deathbed.
I'm bringing this up. Yeah. Wow. They're not going to tell anyone.
Yeah. They'll die with that on their conscience.
All I'm saying
that's on them.
Is the system has a flaw, and we need to work our way around that flaw. We need to come up with a better way.
This whole thing has a flaw.
Yeah, I know.
This whole idea is a flaw.
Yeah, the fact that the impartial judge
this whole podcast is a
could
flaw.
Accidentally be partial to their own joke.
Well, then that is a risk I'm willing to take, Sean, because they're just stupid jokes that I really don't care about. This is never going to happen.
I thought you were going to say they're just stupid people.
Well, that too.
Oh, what? Oh, wow. Anyway, I get distracted by my own surroundings.
Did something crawl up?
Nope.
Near your leg?
Old dad jokes, just a pile of them from August.
You had those sitting on your desk, but you memorized the one that you read. Well,
the one I memorized is a recent one. These are like from August 12th through September 4th. So,
oh crap!
It'd be ridiculous for me to read any of these. Especially, I haven't sold a single copy of my autobiography. That's the story of my life. Not doing well, like not being successful in their artistic endeavors. What country is filled with weightlifters? Why, I would have to say Lithuania. I mean, we could do this, or we can.
Not a real place.
We can, just because it's not recognized by the UN. We could do this, or we can, we haven't recorded in a while. Do we want to talk about that?
About why we haven't recorded in a while? I'm sure people don't care.
We haven't, and that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then we don't talk about it. So more dead.
If anybody has noticed that an episode hasn't come out for a couple of weeks,
fear not.
Busy.
I mean, I was worried that the show was over.
2 weeks made you worry it was over?
I thought you were, because you were being coy about certain things. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe he secretly wants this to be done.
What was I being coy about?
You're like, oh, I don't feel well. Ooh. Whoops. I got a tummy ache. I got a tummy ache.
I never said tummy ache.
I fell on the stairs. Whoops. I burned myself with I burned myself with the curling iron. You should see us when we're alone.
Absolutely.
He acts differently when we're alone.
The first thing you said was true. Everything after that was untrue.
How do I know that?
I wasn't feeling well last week.
Yeah.
So we ended up canceling the recording.
Sure. And then
because it was Monday and it would have been the last day to record and I wasn't feeling well on Monday.
And I was expecting today for you to be like, yeah, let's not do today. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what about tomorrow? The show's over. We're not doing the show anymore.
You have, really poor,
pores
thoughts about me.
My pores are poor?
You think very little of me.
I know. I don't think about you much at all. I don't spend many, many minutes of the day thinking about you or your well-being.
It's interesting because you text me a lot more than I text you.
I don't think about it.
They're all accidental.
They're pocket texts.
They're all accidental texts that are very specific.
Yeah. Well, it's like I bump the little microphone so it starts just recording what I'm saying. So,
so you're talking about me but not thinking about me?
No, I don't say – no, I'm not talking about you at all. Are my texts like, Matt said this today and boy, was it fruity.
Every one of your texts is like, it says my name in it. It's really weird.
And it starts off with this Matt guy. Boy, get a load of him.
So the other day when you texted what time is good for you, that wasn't for me. That was for somebody else.
I was talking to someone else about something else that I don't want to disclose.
And then when I responded with a response that was, to that, and you responded to my text as if you were continuing the conversation, that was just coincidence.
The timing worked out. The verbal conversation I was having with someone else lined up with your answer. Like when your answer came through, I must have been looking for my keys or something. I bumped the microphone button on my phone again. And then I verbally responded to what the person I was talking to said verbally to me. And it just lined up with the conversation I didn't know we were having via text.
So this text that you said, we can hit on the fact that it's Saturday the 15th or Sunday the 15th. That was just coincidence that you happened to say that in a text message on Friday. And then you brought up Sunday the 15th here again today.
So years ago.
That's just a coincidence.
Years ago, I didn't think I was ever going to have to tell you this. I made another movie with someone else that's called Saturday the 14th. And obviously for various reasons, which I'm sure you can understand, I didn't want you to know about it. Even if it made,
I would have been devastated.
Even if it reached high levels of commercial success.
It would have crushed me.
So
I'm glad you never told me that.
I'm glad I never told you either.
I would have been crushed.
Yeah, so you can understand why I didn't say anything. So that conversation about it being Sunday the 15th was in reference to that other Saturday the 14th movie I made with someone else after we made our Saturday the 14th movie. Because I said, you know what? The title is so good. It deserves a movie worthy of the title. I'm sorry. I don't think the one that we made is worthy of the title.
I mean, the movie we made is
it's dog shit.
Dog shit.
Wow.
Oh, we're so in sync. We finish each other's
tuna
sandwiches.
melt.
All right. So then this text, when I said, I'm going to have to cancel recording tonight, I have not felt good all day on Monday. And then you texted me back 2 minutes later saying, okay, feel better. That was just complete coincidence.
Again, the person I made the other movie with was also under the weather. So they say.
Right.
Who can believe who these days? Oddly enough, my phone wasn't even with me at the time.
Oh.
It is now, though.
So when you texted me down to pound, that was just random. I'm just looking at old text messages now.
Well, that was in Chicago.
Sean's text messages out of context. Let's go.
Should we?
Should I pack my stuff? What was that?
It's a sex thing.
I'm going to go way back. So it's something that wasn't recent. Hold on.
This is great.
And we're just going to read some text messages out of context. I got to find some good ones. Oh God, this one's, I went all the way back.
You got to find some
to
good
January.
Ones. What's the,
we're talking about Scott McVeigh.
Don't say his full name. Just kidding.
We said his full name on the show.
He's our Canadian guest. He's the unofficial third member of High School Famous, the Canadian subsidiary. This is, you know how you criticized my nonverbal responses as riveting for the audio version of the podcast? You're digging through old texts of mine to try to find one that's, quote, good. Just I'm not sure which is worse. And I'm a Libra.
I don't know.
There's got to be some.
Happy birthday? What the fuck was that?
I was wishing someone a happy birthday in person. I traveled very far to visit them too. Like, it's much further than Chicago. And I only came. I left and came back that same day. I traveled there just so I could in person wish them a happy birthday on October 26th.
How about this one? Do you work tomorrow? I thought for the spooky stuff, it'd be fitting to record on Saturday the 14th.
You know, that one, I was talking to my proctologist, and we don't need to get into what I consider the spooky stuff.
This one just says, I did say lesbians. Or, sorry, I did say lesbians. With 3 white person palming himself in the face emojis following it. There was an episode that you said lesbians instead of lesbians.
Well,
and you didn't believe it, and then you believed it later.
No, I was giving someone advice. So this other person I was talking to was trying to open up a store, kind of like the Container Store, but specifically for lesbians. And they wanted to call it Lesbins. Right. So I was giving them advice on whether or not that was a marketable idea, that they were bringing them enough customers. And I was curious, like, what makes a bin a lesbian versus, a hetero bin or a non-specific bin?
I am going to tell you, Sean, about 90% of our text messages are you just asking if when do we want to record? So I've been scrolling through quite a bit.
I'm telling you.
Just trying to dodge through that stuff.
I'm telling you. Good luck finding.
It's all about, here, this one says classic Matt.
Yeah.
So, that has to be,
No, I was.
How's that not about me or to me?
This is voice. This is text to speech. So obviously it thought I was referring to you, but I was discussing with someone the history of the doormat and how it came to be. What was the very original doormat? What did it look like? What was it made of? Where was it manufactured? Who kind of made it popular?
So the extra T in Matt was a typo?
Like I said, text to speech. If you were listening to me just now. And I hope you can appreciate.
I wasn't.
I hope you can appreciate that during all this, I'm breaking from my normal method of answering questions by directly verbally answering questions. I'm doing that for you because you look really confused, and I need to clear the air and make this obvious to you what's going on.
Right.
I hope you can appreciate that.
On Wednesday, September 13th.
Okay.
Of 23.
Of 2023.
2023. Good. Veins, LOL.
Was it?
But wait, this was followed up with a Thursday, September 14th, 2022. So that was at 9 a.m., by the way, on Wednesday the 13th. Okay. The next day at 12:19 p.m., vein.
Like a day and a half later?
with no text from me in between that.
Wow. I don't know what. I mean, Matt.
It was. I recall it as being there is an episode where we both said "vein" at like the exact same time. I think
possibly.
And I think you were probably listening back to the episode and then texted me saying "veins, LOL."
I think you're probably right.
And then corrected yourself with "vein."
I don't know why you were expecting me to be able to recall the context of that from a year ago. It's almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
This has been great. So, yeah.
Are we recording today?
Look, I don't have any other reason to talk to you. So hopefully you understand now why those are my texts.
Right. I'm open. That's a text that you sent me.
Again, that was my phone accidentally activating the text to speech function, and someone else was talking to me. And so my phone heard that being said by someone else. Okay, I think it looks like he stumbled upon it.
There's a little back and forth here that says, hold on. So I got to go up a little bit more because there's, something about, you asked me how old my cat was. So I'm going to read this back and forth real quick. How old is Milton? I said 13. He said same age as my dog. I said the big difference is Milton is supposed to shit in the house. So we were talking about your dog shitting in the house. And then you said she only she's when she peeps. I said, do you want to try that sentence again? And you sent me the face palm emoji.
Okay.
Classic Sean. Yeah. And then you said she only does that when she peeps. I said, peeps? You said diarrhea. I call it peeping. So it wasn't as good as I thought it was. But
still good.
Still good.
I'm hoping that term kind of takes off. Good. Just like trust.
Yeah.
It's making its rounds. It's getting around. Peeping. I mean, think about it. It's like liquid poop. It's like peep. Now that people understand the meaning or how I came to that term, I think they'll be enthused to use it.
Possibly.
Also, to explain that back and forth, that was an actual conversation I was having with you.
Hey, wow. Finally.
Yeah, I know.
Finally. I feel seen. And
it's weird to have an emotion about two senses at the same time.
That you feel seen.
Or you feel heard, or I feel smelled. Well, no one's ever said that. Oh, yeah. I feel so smelled right now. You validated me. It's like you walk around. It's like, let's say you wear a cologne and then someone comments on the cologne. You're like, oh, I feel so smelled. Thank you.
Or like somebody goes into the bathroom after you and then complains.
That too.
About the stench. Be like, oh, I feel so smelled.
You wouldn't want that though.
Right.
No one wants to be recognized for that, or for that to be pointed out. No one even probably wants.
You never know.
Some
people are probably proud of that.
People probably don't even want to be aware of someone even smelling your excrement, your leavings, as it were.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that do it as a prank. Like I'm gonna leave a big old stinker.
Sure. Define plenty.
Well,
look up the word plenty.
Let's look up the word plenty and see what the actual definition is.
I was asking you to, but you're gonna do a cop out here, and
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I didn't say you weren't.
I mean, it means exactly what the actual definition is exactly what you think of it would be, is a large or significant amount or quantity, more than enough.
You assume that that's what I think.
I like that added.
More than
added
enough.
A little part. Yeah. How many do you need?
More than plenty. Oh,
yeah. Which is more than enough. Yeah. So that I'm going to have excess, basically.
Yeah.
Don't give me exactly what I need.
Right.
Give me more than what I need.
But they're asking,
is what that's saying.
In order to do that, you have to tell them exactly what you need so that they can give you more.
Right. So back in that episode where I was talking about making a future movie, a movie that
This was the period piece thing.
So that the period piece thing where it comes out at, I don't remember exactly how I made it all up, but you were saying, but when I told you when you asked me how far in the future would I need to go, and I said enough, I should have said plenty.
Right. But
I should have said I should have got. Well, no, it would have had to have been just enough, because if I would have done it plenty, if I would have gone plenty into the future, I would have gone too far, and then the movie would have came out like at the wrong time. The movie would have been made in a timeline that didn't line up with the time it was going to be released.
You can change the release date.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want to do that.
It wouldn't make sense if you didn't change the release date. That would make it so the movie doesn't make sense.
I mean, let's be honest. The movie wasn't going to make sense anyways. It can't be done. I've had a falling out with Doc Brown.
I like how you sort of like comedically muted your mic, but that doesn't. Maybe you did.
I didn't
I thought you were doing it like the timing. I thought you were doing it anyway.
No.
Well, this week, as I mentioned, on Wednesday, I will be traveling with my son to Denver, Colorado. And
yes.
So hopefully I'll have some interesting things to just talk about. One of the things we'll be doing the first night is staying the night at the famous Stanley Hotel. Mm-hmm. I'm not staying in one of these spirited rooms, which is what they call the rooms that are supposedly lush with paranormal activity. But I'm hoping that maybe I'll have some sort of experience just wandering around the hotel.
Would you say they might have plenty of haunted activity?
Well, no, because when it comes to paranormal activity, I would say that there's never enough.
So what word would that fall under? Some.
Insufficient. This juice has
a smattering.
This orange juice has some pulp.
Mm.
All it means is it's more than zero.
There was we're rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, when I went to your place, it was on TV.
Oh yeah. We had it like up, waiting to go.
It was like maybe in between episodes, it was ready
screen.
To play the next episode or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an orange drink that because he's Jake Peralta is all about his orange sodas. One of the orange sodas is just called Pulp.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I was noticing a lot of little weird background details
of
that show this time around.
I've watched that 2 times through. And I went actually not even the whole thing. I know I watched it when you told me to watch it. I finally sat down and watched it, and I watched it from beginning to end. And then I was watching a channel react to it. And I know at some point in there I started watching the episode they were reacting to. But I know I didn't start from the beginning. So yeah, solid show. Don't know how much I'll rewatch it over and over again, but
I think it's a good one to throw on after a while.
Yeah.
Again, just like after so many years, just throw it on again and watch it. It's a fun show. Yeah, we got the last 2 episodes left now. So
like the final 2, like you're done, almost done. All right.
Yep.
Do you get sad each time? Like, oh, we're all done with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's not going to be more to watch for a while because you'll rewatch it again later, but. Now that you're in the middle of it,
also,
you're having.
We'll just have to find something new to watch afterwards.
The reboot of Frasier?
No, I was never into Frasier. This is the part of the episode where you just give me suggestions for stuff to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to look up a bunch of Jet Li movies.
Not again.
No, I'm not going to do that. I promise.
Well, a couple weeks ago, not this previous Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, I went to a one-shot D&D thing.
Okay.
Where I went and there was 3 different tables with 3 different DMs doing 3 different games or 3 different scenarios or whatever. So I went and did that. It was pretty interesting. The story was really weird. It was hard to follow.
What is it? What is that? What is one shot? What does it mean?
So a one shot is it would just be a condensed single story. So you just play that session and that's it.
Oh, gotcha.
So they had, there's characters that they already have mocked up and ready that you can just play and use. So I just went in there doing that. Just grabbed a they gave me like 3 or 4 different characters to choose from. So I just picked one and then I played that character.
So why are there multiple DMs?
Because of the amount of people that go. So you split up into
so
different groups.
There's multiple one-shot games going on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. There was 3 different games happening with like, we had 5 people at our table. There was another one that had like 5 or 6, and another one was a little bit of a bigger group.
Okay.
So yeah, it was interesting. The storyline was kind of weird. We were supposedly trying to hunt down some like wizard dude, and I guess I got affected by I got there a little late, so I had to like roll to see if I got affected by this thing that happened before I got there.
Oh yeah.
And I failed. So I was starting to become petrified. Like my skin was I was starting to turn to stone throughout it.
Yeah.
So the entire time we're trying to like find this item that can cure us. And then we ended up, there was a lot of these like weird fish type creatures that we kept having to fight and stuff. And we had to like go into their lair. And I guess these particular creatures, and I can't remember what they're called, but they'll just like make this little weird thing out of like garbage and stuff. And then they'll start like idolizing it.
Okay.
And within their like race of fish people, if enough people start idolizing this thing, it will actually manifest into a god.
Oh,
like an actual living god.
That's kind of a fun idea.
There's this weird like pig-like creature thing that we ended up like finally getting into its lair. And then the wizard guy that we were supposedly chasing down was there, and they were fighting over like having a monopoly over this product that was like useful for like healing or blowing shit up, depending on if you added cold or hot to it.
Okay. Who comes up with this?
And it was weird. I think, what was it called? I think it was called like Shmoo was the thing. It's just like this weird rock type thing that the pig creature like would create, basically. Like he would like spit it out.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of it everywhere. So we ended up like using that as a weapon, like blowing it up and shit.
You added hot to it.
So it was a really weird storyline, but I was a rogue, and I was just like, so this thing that we needed to get, we saw this creature like running out somewhere with it. And I'm just like, I'm just going to try to sneak up and steal it from him. And I just was rolling 20s like crazy.
Yeah?
So I snuck up to him, stole it, and got the fuck out of there before he even knew what was going on.
Nice.
And then this whole fight broke out, and I was just gone. Like all the other people are like, I guess I'm going to fight this guy and do this and this. I'm just like, I'm over here now. I have the thing I want.
I was plenty successful.
Like I was just somehow rolling crazy well the entire time.
Hey.
So it was pretty fun. It took a minute for me to kind of like get all the rust off.
Just figure out how the whole thing worked too, I bet.
Yeah. So if I do it again, I'll go into it with a better knowledge of what's going to happen, and I'm going to bring my own character, because they basically just have a bunch of 5th level random characters. So I'm just going to make some 5th level characters and just bring them and just play with those.
How often do these guys?
I think I could have more fun with it.
How often do these guys do this?
I think it's weekly.
Oh shoot!
So didn't do one this last week because the person I went with had COVID.
Oh, good.
So it never came up. So I assumed nobody went, but we'll see. I'm sure it'll come up again and maybe go a couple times a month or something.
Well,
but it was a pretty good time.
Well, Matt, you could what do they call it? Recale us with weekly.
Yeah, if I go weekly,
one-shot D&D stories. I mean, this is kind of
it was a couple weeks ago, so I'm not remembering a ton of the details of it, but it was definitely weird.
Is this kind of replacing your kickball league you were in?
Oh God, that was forever ago.
Is it replacing it? Is it like
your
new regular extracurricular activity?
The kickball thing was had to do with Iman's job. It was like their outing.
Sure, yeah.
She doesn't work at that place anymore.
I know it's not going on anymore. That's not what I'm asking.
I wasn't even officially part of the kickball league. I just subbed in. and then play it a couple times.
Okay.
So no, it's not, because it's not a thing anymore. It's not replacing a thing that doesn't exist.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sean. Did you want me to answer that in a different way?
You could say yes. Sure. Why not? This is what I'm doing now instead of kickball.
But that wouldn't be an answer. That wouldn't be the right answer.
It's not like
by me saying
that just
giving you the answer I gave you was the more correct answer.
But you saying, so if you were to have said, yes, this is what I now do instead of kickball, that does not say I specifically stopped doing kickball in order to do this. What it means is this is what is filling time for me weekly when kickball used to do that, and it does not anymore. Was it weekly? I don't remember.
But kickball got it was, but kickball got replaced by doing nothing because kickball ended.
Sure. And
then I wasn't doing anything. Look, so this is just more so fulfilling me not doing anything.
Look, you don't have a lot of like hobbies or things you do.
I have like zero hobbies now.
Right. But one thing that you used to do is kickball. Occasionally, a couple times.
I did it twice.
Still. That's an extra non-go to work, non-go home, watch TV thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an activity in which you are participating. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
That is no longer happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though it's years later and not a direct replacement or direct result of the kickball ending, you are now involved, potentially more than once, in a new activity that is not involved with going to work and coming home and watching TV. Yes?
You lost me.
So, work is where you go to find money.
I go there. I'm going to make money at that place.
So you have to try to get it, the money.
I mean,
you have to do something to earn the money.
I think you have to put forth at least some effort. Just showing up isn't enough for most jobs.
Just showing up is plenty. Are you purposefully making your thing
I was tapping my desk.
I'm trying to avoid wobbling, and you're like excessively wobbling.
Yeah, I'm a total weeble.
Yeah. Although sometimes
weeble.
I wish you would just fall down.
That'd have been a good time for me to just like throw myself back in my chair and end the episode.
Like you would have said, "See you next Tuesday," and like a fall, like it's getting quieter and quieter.
See you next Tuesday,
Chris Platt. You even say Chris Platt,
of course.
Yeah,
it's not going to.
If you falling on the floor isn't going to make a noise.
Yeah, it's a carpet here. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, total. I could tell. I can just looking behind you. You've totally gone through extreme lengths to acoustically treat your room.
Oh yeah, I got
to
that.
Reduce echo.
You know, I put up my guitars.
Yeah, and those. If anybody knows anything about guitars, it's about not making sound.
Yeah, exactly. They just absorb it, and then nothing comes back at you.
So when someone hooks up a guitar to an amp, that amp is actually creating an audio representation of the absence of noise that is being absorbed by the guitar.
Yeah.
It's a common misconception. They think that the guitar is making the sound, but it's just a representation of all the sound that the guitar doesn't make.
It's the sound that the guitar is absorbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is some of that sound the sound that's made by the guitar itself? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll never know.
I've never made a guitar.
I've never touched one. Somebody else. Somebody else put those up.
Your new landlord.
Yeah,
they have to approve of all the hangings of wall art and other decor. So you had to bring them in, and they hung it where they approved in approved locations. Anyway, that was a nice little tangent. I was hoping you would fall backward in your chair at some point and say, "See you next Tuesday."
No, I'm too old for that shit.
Okay. See you next Tuesday. Chris Platt. Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, X, or Instagram at hsfamouspod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Not important.